Welcome to the podcast. I am in absolute awe. Just met with the mastermind, and I said, I can't believe that the first time we did this book, Melanie and Marie-Pierre was part of it. We did the whole chapter in one podcast. And you have to understand that not only this chapter is going to be decorticated, it's a Tupperware word we invented, okay? It's going to be segmented in 11 11 podcasts, but it's mind-boggling to think we actually tried to give this podcast was. And something is very important that I realized as I was talking to the mastermind. That's the power of the subject we're going to talk about today, decisiveness. If we had waited that we understood how to deliver a podcast, if we had waited to understand the amount of reading we had to do to deliver one podcast, we would never have gotten the podcast off its feet. Never. Instead, now I have great stories to tell you on the... Do not listen to our first 1,000 hours of podcast. Look at me. Do not listen to our... Okay? But just keep that in mind as we move forward today. So remember, if you're joining the Millionaire of the Diamonds, and this is the very first time you're joining our podcast and you're looking for something motivational, this is not it, okay? If you're joining us to be inspired, this is not it. To debate ideas, this is not it. If, this would be the wrong place to be at, okay? This podcast, beginning with me, okay, is my transformational podcast. I listen to other podcasts. They're interesting, they're informative, but our podcast is transformational. Let me repeat it. Our podcast is transformational. And if it isn't for you, doesn't matter. I'm doing it for me. There I go again. It's a me thing. But it is. And if it wasn't for these podcasts, yesterday when I met with Sherry Novak and her incredible future Tupperware director, Caroline Tata, who is absolutely crushing it, and we were looking at the recognition, like I would say worldwide, I'm going, oh my God. So when Caroline Tata says to me, now I'm going to add this to my sales, I said, no, Caroline, you're already at $5,600 part-time you've entered in the month. You already qualified for New York last year. And indecisiveness is when you have too many options. And because of the podcast, I was able to say to Caroline, no. Do not touch anything. You don't fix anything that's not broken, and you don't add anything. Keep doing the sales the way you're doing. And then where there was the weak link, which was recruiting, we worked on that. But this is what the podcast does, Melanie. You understand? I'm able, as a leader, to guide them in the right way and not allow them to defocus themselves. So decisiveness is limit your choices. It's going to help you to be decisive. And that one thing you're going to do, you're going to do it with excellence, with passion, with energy. I don't know how to... Is the message coming across, you think, guys? Is it coming across? Good. So today I'm going to go into storytelling. Thank God, Melanie, you're going to bring the science, because I dove into the science myself, and it's really too many choices. And the society is killing us, because whether you're walking into a grocery store, whether you're going into a restaurant, the problem is there's too many choices. You want to buy running shoes, too many choices, and it's creating indecisive people. You get it, Melanie? Like, that's why I had to dive into it. I said, that is the problem. I went to Italy, and the girls wanted to get some potato chips, right? And they were like, this is it, the choices? Like, you have to understand, in Italy, you don't have an entire row at the grocery store of different types of chips. So guess what, Melanie? They're a little bit more decisive. Anyways, thought I'd throw that in. So guys, you're going to want to share this podcast with everybody you know that has a hard time making a decision. Everybody. Okay, go, Marie-Pierre, up to you.
Okay, so it's time to share. So you have the arrow just beside where you write your comment. So you can share on every social media platform. And in the comment, you have the text that you can copy paste when you share on every social media platform, so people understand why they should listen to the podcast. But of course, when you have someone in mind that really needs to hear the podcast, the best way to make sure they will click on the link is to send it directly one-on-one. So send it by messenger, send it by text message. So when you click on the arrow, you have those options to share it directly to one person. And And then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires de Diamant. So first, when you go on our Facebook group, Les Millionnaires de Diamant Inspirational Group, every time that you post, every time that you comment, every time that you react, you gain point during the month to be in the top 10. And the official top 10 for the month of March, we have number 10, Annabelle
Oh, we have the results. Fine. Okay, sorry.
Eva. Okay, so number 10, we have Annabelle Hébert. Number 9,
Hey,
Micheline Turvet.
wait. Who's that?
Annabelle, she's been with us for like long time.
Okay, now you see my senior moment. Maria, shut up. Then
Oh
they'll
yeah,
know.
not on the, not live, but she's on the group and she participates. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Annabelle Hébert, number 10. Number 9, Micheline Turmel. Number 8, Seka Motivation. Number 7, Marie Larose. Number 6, Sherry Novak. Number 5, Nathalie Brochu. Number 4, Kendra Seffingasol. Number 3, Lise Houcher. Number 2, Louise Gauthier. And number 1, Martha Noel. So coronation to our top 10 for the month of March. So again, we start over for the month of April. So let's start it to post and comment and react on the group. And then we have a draw every month for everyone that posts and tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So every time that you place an order on the boutique Les Millionnaires des Diamants or you receive your order, take a picture, post it, and tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants, the at Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So you can
Maria
tag
Mariano too. Maria Mariano. Do you find my daughter looks like me?
and
Yeah.
this one, no.
I disagree. I think it's a perfect match.
So yeah. Go ahead and post and tag me and same thing with the books. So every time that you receive one of the book, you take a picture. You're reading one of the book, you take a picture. You're doing one of the quiz book, you take a picture. Every time you post and you tag me and our winner for the month of March is Annabelle Hébert. So thank you for everyone that posts and tag Les Millionnaires des Diamants. So every month that we have, you can always participate. And if you don't already have your ticket for the next conference, click on the link so you can join us for the virtual conference. So it's
Okay,
all around the world.
Wait. I revised my notes for Saturday. Okay, guys, you got to be there. You like listen to me. Linda, listen. You got to be there. Like guys, listen, you got to be there. Okay? Marie-Pierre, that's why I'm so excited.
So voila, click on the link and join us. Virtual replay or directly with us in the studio. There's still place, so send me a message and we can add you to that list. Voila.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're late. It's all my fault. Like, just remember, every time we're late, there's nobody else responsible but me. Okay, so let's dive in. It's called Decisiveness. Let me just take it straight out of the book. Okay, this is virtue number 4, major attribute, not virtue, Maria. Major attributes of leadership: decisiveness, definitiveness. Can't even read, for God's sake. Okay, definitiveness of decision. The man who wavers in his decisions shows that he is not sure of himself. He cannot lead others successfully. That was it. That was our reading. Okay. And this is why you got to follow the podcast, The Millionaire, The Diamonds, because we're going to give you 30 minutes worth of information on one thing. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question. How many lives are broken? Not because they're lacking talent, not because they're lacking opportunity, but simply because they're undecided. Think about it. And if you want to go into chat and highlight some names, you might as well put their name. It's going to be very discreet. Joking. Don't you dare do that. Okay. Don't you dare do that. Because you see, my friends, indecision is one of the most silent, invisible forces that keeps people exactly where they are, stuck and frustrated. Not failing, but never truly moving. And, I have so many examples just sharing this with you that's going like this. So the beautiful visual I like is I want you to imagine there's 2 boats sitting at the same shore, same ocean, same weather, same opportunity. So superimpose that visual into your life, right? The first boat lifts the anchor. It's not perfect, not perfectly, not with full certainty, but with a decision. Even if the winds shifts, even if the waves are rough, the boat moves, it will adjust, it will learn as it's moving, and it finds its direction because it made the decision to leave the shore. Now, the second boat, the anchor still down. And the captain says, let me just check the wind one more time. Let me just check the news channel one more time. Let me ask a few people around if I should or shouldn't leave. Is it a good time if it's not a good time? Let me just double check my direction. Oh, if I'm wrong. So what I realized preparing this yesterday, I said, you know what? A lot of people, it's leur orgueil, it's their ego. They don't want to be wrong, so they rather freeze there than try something new and make a mistake. They'd rather be safe, they'd rather be certain and completely stuck, never growing, never going anywhere else. Let's talk about our podcast. When we launched it over 6 years ago, I had no clue where I was taking Jean-Philippe, Sabrina back there, Marie-Pierre. No clue. It didn't matter. We took it off. And this is why I don't want you to listen to the first 1,000 hours. Can you imagine we're at 6 years and we're about 1,200 hours of podcast into it, and the first 1,000 are horrible. You don't wait for perfect timing. We adjust. So the same book that I read once, and this is the third time we're doing it in podcast, we're finally getting it how to do it. And just think of this example I'm giving you. Someone is not more successful because they're more talented. They just make the decision. And I think of my Tupperware career, 42 years, going in my 43rd year. And as I was getting this ready, I was thinking of all the people that were so capable. But because they thought and they rethought, think and rethink, they started, they stopped, they started, they stopped, they fell into doubt, they hesitated, they let anxiety take over. Pauline Bagnoli, if she hadn't joined the Diamonds, you need to know she already was in Tupperware somewhere else and she didn't make it. But in the Diamonds, because of the coaching, the mentoring, the take you by the hand leadership, she's at a whole other level today. Decision creates clarity. And this is what's on the other side. Decisive people are not perfect people. They don't have more of information. They're not more certain, but they do have something most people don't. They trust themselves. Okay, write that down. I must trust myself more. They decide and then they move. Even if it's not perfect, they adjust. Even if it's not right, they'll redirect. Let's go back to our podcast, right? But they never stay frozen. I never freeze. I'm so decisive, you have no idea. I learned that from my dad. Decisive people understand this. I would rather make the wrong decision, ego, much smaller, than no decision at all, because movement creates momentum, and momentum will eventually create results. And this is what happened with our podcast. This is what's happened with our business, our real estate, and I can go on and on and on and on. The moment you decide, just do it. Hey, there we come. Now I understand all these words. A whole new level of you will show up. You will rise to your own expectation. So I'm going to ask you one question. Who are you? Are you the person that needs to be sure, needs to ask everyone, needs to have more time, needs to make a decision, then change again your mind? Or do you just move? I'm going to tell you, Marie-Pierre and Melanie Miller just move. Do we make mistakes? Oh my gosh, 9 out of 10 of their just move. Melanie screws up so many times. Oh, maybe that's why she has a doctorate's degree. What do you guys think? Oh, maybe this is why she's worth millions. What do you guys think? Oh, maybe this is why she's living her dream life in Australia 2-3 months at a time. Think about it. But I can tell you, I've been her friend almost 20 years. 1 out of 10 is a good decision. The 9 others, she screwed up. But this is what great leaders are about. Okay. Now, Melanie, my friend, where is she? Where is she? That's why I love you. Because when I have a crazy idea, you're just as crazy. We just do it. And if we screw up, we don't talk about it. If we're successful, we yell on top of the roofs. So over to you for the science, because there is a science behind this.
Thank you, Maria. And as Maria said in her introduction, people respond to decision making in very different ways. We often hear people say things like, I hope I made the right decision. And what is interesting about that statement is this: The important thing is that a decision was made. The consequences of a decision can usually be managed. They may be adjusted, corrected, or refined, but indecision solves nothing. As with the other leadership qualities we have discussed, there's a great deal happening in the brain when you are faced with a decision. Neuroscience tells us that decision making is not the job of one single part of the brain. It is a collaborative process involving several different regions working together. At the center is the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain just behind the forehead. This is often called the brain's executive center. It weighs options, it compares possibilities, it asks, what is likely to happen if I choose this? Another part of the brain, the hippocampus, searches through our past experiences and memories. Have I faced something like this before? What happened last time? And then there is the reward system of the brain, particularly the basal ganglia and the striatum, which help us judge which option feels safest, most rewarding, or most familiar. So every decision is really a combination of past experience, current information, possible future outcomes, and the important emotion. Scientists now believe that decision making happens in stages. First, the brain gathers information. Almost like a loading bar on a computer screen, the brain accumulates evidence for each possible choice. Then it begins to evaluate the value of each option. Which one seems safest? Which one seems the most rewarding? Which one fits best with my goals? Eventually, enough evidence builds up and the brain reaches a threshold. At that point, a decision is made, and something fascinating happens. Once the brain has chosen one option, it begins to suppress the others. In other words, the brain tries to stabilize the decision and prevent us from changing our minds every 5 minutes, which is perhaps fortunate because otherwise many of us would never leave the house. The chemicals in the brain also play a role. Dopamine helps us anticipate reward. It pushes us toward what seems exciting, pleasurable, or likely to succeed. Serotonin helps regulate mood and confidence during the process, but sometimes the decision making system can become disruptive. This is why people who struggle with addiction, impulsive behavior, or gambling often find decision making more difficult. Their reward system becomes overactive, and the brain starts to focus more on immediate relief or pleasure than on long term consequences. But even without addiction, all of us have something important to remember. Your brain is designed first to protect you, not to make you successful. Your brain wants safety. It wants certainty. It wants to avoid risk, embarrassment, disappointment, and failure. So, if you have had a bad experience in the past, if you have too much information, or if you are afraid of making a mistake, your brain may begin to confuse, delay, or jumble the decision making process. You start thinking, what if I choose the wrong thing? What if it doesn't work? What if there's a better option? And before long, you become stuck. This is why indecision can be so dangerous, because when we delay a decision for too long, we lose momentum, we lose confidence, and sometimes we lose opportunities. Napoleon Hill believed that leaders make decisions promptly and change them slowly if they need to. Not because they're always right, but because they understand that action creates information. Very often, you only discover whether a decision was right by making it. The good news is that decisiveness is a skill. It is not simply something you are born with. Like any skill, it can be strengthened through practice, experience, and conscious effort. Here are a few ways to improve it. Limit the amount of information you take in. Too much information creates paralysis. Give yourself a deadline. If you know you must decide by 5 o'clock tomorrow, you're less likely to keep delaying. Focus on your values and goals. Ask yourself which option best fits the person I want to be. Remember that very few decisions are permanent, most can be adjusted later. Practice making small decisions more quickly. The more you do it, the more confidence you build. And perhaps most importantly, stop expecting yourself to make the perfect decision. There is rarely a perfect choice. Usually, there is simply a good choice, followed by commitment and action. So perhaps decisiveness is not about always knowing what to do. Perhaps is about trusting yourself enough to move forward, to listen to the information, to weigh the options, to make the best choice you can, and then to act. Because when we combine decision with action, we stop being controlled by fear and we begin to create the life and leadership that we want. Now I'm going to leave you in the hands of Marie Pierre, who I'm sure is going to help us understand whether we're decisive or not. Over to you, Marie Pierre.
Absolutely. Thank you, Melanie. So let's continue with the quiz because we realize that indecision doesn't show up in big dramatic moment, but it show up in your everyday life quietly but repeatedly. And that's why most people don't even realize that it's controlling them that they are indecisive, because indecision is not the I don't know what to do with my life, but it's probably more like I'm open the fridge and then I stare and then I stare and then I close it and then I reopen it and then I close it and then I reopen it and then I close it and then I reopen it and then I hope that a miracle happen. It's that is indecision. Or you're scrolling on Netflix for 30 minutes and then you watch nothing. Or you say, I'll think about it, and then you never decided to do something about it. Or you ask it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people to do something, hoping that someone will decide for you. That is indecision. So it's to realize what happened in your life so we can work on that and become decisive. So are you ready for the quiz? Because we want to realize where we are right now. So in each situation I will give you, I want you really to picture yourself in that situation and answer honestly what you would usually do in that situation. So let's start question number one. So you are at the restaurant and now everyone else is ordering and then the waiter is standing there looking at you. You feel the pressure. What happened next? A, you hesitate, ask question, change your mind and still feel unsure. B, you choose but you're not fully confident. Or C, you decide quickly and move on. Question number two. You wrote a post for social media, so you're about to share it. Your finger is on the button, and then suddenly, what will people think? So, what do you do? A, you edit, you rewrite, you overthink, and don't post. B, you post, but you keep checking reaction. Or C, you post and move on without overthinking. Question number three. You need to make a simple action like make a call or send a message. Really something small but important. It takes 2 minutes. So what happened? A, you delay it all day. B, you eventually do it later. Or C, you do it immediately. Question number four. You're about to make a decision, but before deciding, what do? A, you ask multiple people for their opinion. B, you ask 1 or 2 person. Or C, you decide on your own. And question number five. It's the morning, so you are choosing what to wear, what to eat, what to start with. So what is your reality? A, it takes longer than it should. B, it's manageable but not always quick. Or C, it's simple and fast. So did you get mostly A's, mostly B's, or mostly C's this morning? So if you have mostly A, you are not stuck, but you avoid decisions. So that create those missed opportunity, frustration, and lack of confidence, because every delay is a decision that you to stay where you are. So you want to focus on decide faster, even if it's not perfect, but decide faster. If you have mostly B, you are in movement but slowed by your doubt. So you decide, but you don't trust yourself fully. So you want to focus on trust your first instinct more and less overthinking, more action. And if you have mostly C, now you are decisive. So you act, you move, you adjust. So you want to create that speed. So that speed will create that momentum too. So 5 daily practice to help you become decisive. Number one, the 5 second rule. For small decision, decide in 5 seconds. No analysis, no overthinking. Five, four, three, two, one, decide. Number two, first decision is usually your best decision. So trust your first answer. Stop changing your mind every 5 minutes. Number three, limit your option and your opinion. So if you want opinion to help you take a big decision, one or two, not everyone around you. So limit your opinion around you. Number four, do it now rule. So if it takes less than 2 minutes to do it immediately. Don't delay it later during the day. And rule number five, build decision speed daily. So train it like it's a muscle. So the more you decide, the easier it will become, because indecision will feel safe if you work on that and you decide with small decision. So even if it's not perfect, you will take that decision, and then next time that you are at the restaurant, you will just pick something and not stare at the waiter a long, long time. So on that, I wish you a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for the next part of the podcast. Bye, everyone.